Hello everybody, welcome to the latest video. Overnight here in the UK, there's been some news that we're going to be getting 6 new Beatles albums. And I say 6 new Beatles albums because technically they're reissues. We are going to be getting the 6 first capital USA Beatles albums. Now it's a little bit sketchy what we're actually going to be getting it as such. We do know that it's going to be the first 6 albums. So the first 6 albums are Meet the Beatles, the Beatles' second album. Then there will be the USA version of A Hard Day's Night, which I have got, but mine is a Canadian version. I can't find it for some reason. I know I've got it, but I can't remember where I've put it. Then there is Something New. The early Beatles. And then Beatles 65. So as you can see, I've already got all those LPs. But I am looking forward to seeing if this release comes to fruition or not. Like I say, at the time of recording this, it is a bit sort of like mysterious. They're not saying whether you're going to be getting them in mono or stereo. They're not saying whether it's going to be released as individual albums or it's going to be a 6 album box set. Now I hope that they release them individually. I don't need any of those albums, to be honest, but it will be nice to have 180 gram remastered versions of them. I was lucky when I started collecting my Beatles collection in the early 80s. You could still get decent copies of the American albums, you know, from record fairs and second-hand shops and things like that, and they weren't that hard to come by. A lot of UK fans didn't even like these albums, but now, as most things, they are getting quite hard to get here in the UK especially. And the ones that you do usually see in car boots, second-hand shops, even in some record fairs, seem to be a bit battered up. And they're not, you know, really fantastic copies. These are all, they're not mint, but they are nice playable copies. A few years ago, we did get a CD box set of the American albums. That was basically everything that was in there. Which is why I'm hoping they're going to be doing these separate, so that eventually we can get like the whole collection. And we are getting the original USA mixes apparently. Is it Dave Dexter mixes, which some people like, other people don't. Now, to me, I've got no problem with them. I consider the American albums and the British albums as 2 different sets of albums. Yes, there's similarities, even in the covers, the songs and things like that, but the American albums don't really bear much resemblance to the UK albums and vice versa. You know, that's no disrespect. I'm not saying which ones I think are better or not, because they've both got the place in history. I hope, like I say, that they come out as individual albums, and I hope that they've got not to be charged stupid money for them. I think they should be like £20-25 a piece when they come out. If you're listening, Apple, not like 40, 50 or £60. You know, if you're going to do it, give it, you know, do it properly so that you're giving people something that they want. So, you know, make it affordable. Hence why I don't particularly want them to be in a box set. Then hopefully we'll get like Beatles 6 and Rubber Soul, the American Rubber Soul, the American version of Revolver as well, which is, you know, that they are different to the UK versions. And then I think the only other one that's like, could do Yesterday and Today, and then I think it's Hey Jude, isn't it? I think the rest of the albums, Sergeant Pepper, Magical Mystery Tour, the White Album, Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road and Let It Be are virtually the same as the UK versions. So I'm looking forward to that. As I say, at the minute, it's a bit sketchy. Hopefully they are going to be worldwide releases and not just released in America. Because some countries around the world probably don't know what these albums sound like. There's people in the UK that don't know what these albums sound like, because even if you went out and bought the CD American Albums box set a few years ago, the one where they sat with the American flag behind them, apparently most of them used the British mixes, which I didn't know till a few years ago. So yeah, really, really, really looking forward to them. If you watched the video the other day, you'd know that my friend Terry Mann, long time subscriber, sent me a package with some early birthday gifts in, one of which was David Bowie portrait up there. So I've tidied the room up, made some room so that I can, proudly present it where it should be, on the wall. So we sat on the opposite side of the road. Opposite side of the room. Oh my God. This is take 6 of this. I tried to do it on my laptop and that kept switching itself off. Every time I've been doing this, the dog started barking. So I'm sorry, I've made a mistake. We are sat on the opposite side of the room, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a taste of what the other side of the room looks like. Although I have done videos on this side of the room. I've tidied up that side, which you can't see at the minute. So basically everything on the other side now is all Beatles. I was counting up, I think. No, I'm not going to tell you because you'll take the mickey out of me. I've got well over 1,600 Beatles albums. That's including, compilations and solo albums and things like that. Yeah, so basically all that massive rack that's on that side of the room now is just Beatles. So that's like a proper Beatles corner now. This is some of my other records, but there is still Beatles memorabilia about it. But I do think that David Bowie portrait looks nice there. By the way, that thing there, it's not on the picture. That is the light in the room. If I don't have the light on, you wouldn't see me. So yeah. So talking of David Bowie, on the last video, somebody did mention, oh, didn't you do a David Bowie mini-series? Yes, I did. It was in 7 parts, I believe, last year. And they ranged in length from 25 minutes to like over an hour. Very, very detailed at the time. And they says, well, why don't you do an update? If you've got some more records since then, why don't you just show? And I thought, yeah, it's an ideal opportunity to do that. So I'm listening to you lot out there. I'm listening to you subscribers and fans and friends. So, in no particular order, some of these might have been featured in other videos, I can't remember, but they weren't featured in the main David Bowie collection mini-series from last year. So, we've got David Bowie, Don't Be Fooled by the Name. Now this is a 10-inch 6-track mini album, extended EP. So you've got a picture of David from 1978, but the songs are from the early 60s. This is when he was recording for Pie, and I think on some of these he was still called Davy Jones as well. So side 1 you've got I'm Not Losing Sleep, a fantastic song. I Dig Everything, a very, very sort of Carnaby Street swinging London sort of song. Can't Help Thinking About Me, again a very sort of like mod. I mean, as in mod music in the 1960s. Side 2 is Do Anything You Say, again a very sort of like bluesy R&B mod song. Good Morning Girl, fantastic song. And then the last song is And I Say to Myself. So this was actually 3 singles that came out 65 and very, very early 66, I think. And before that, he had done a couple of releases on Parlophone as well, believe it or not. So these would have been on Pi, although that says PRT, Precision Records and Tapes, that stood for, which was a updated name for Pi Records. This is actually in really, really nice condition. I got this from BPM, my local record shop in Derby, probably about a year ago. And if you haven't got this, this is one that is worth getting. This is David Bowie, the young singer, finding his feet in the music industry at the time. Like I say, very, very sort of like modern art, R&B, very small facesy in some places, and to get the singles on their own, you're talking a small fortune. So that is the easiest way, and we paid £5 for that. I say we because I think Sue bought me this, to be honest. Yeah, I know you can get an album, which is just the same songs, but they've extended it onto an LP, but you still only get 6 songs on it. But yes, if you can find that and you're not paying silly money for it, by all means do it. The original Pie singles do come up on internet sites from time to time, but you are talking extremely silly money for them. Then there's this one. I got this because I saw another YouTuber, Gav Axeman Spins, reviewing this, and I thought, wow, because this came out, and then a couple of months before this there was another one that came out for Record Store Day, which was very, very similar to this. This is David Bowie, Rock and Roll Star. Now there is a CD box set of the same name that came out at the same time, and this is basically alternative takes, outtakes, a couple of alternate versions, demos of songs that were recorded during the sessions for Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Sorry, the Fallen Mars of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Some of these tracks did make it onto the LP in different versions, others didn't. So you've got Hang On To Yourself, Early Ziggy Session Take, Star Take 5 alternative version, Lady Stardust Take 1 alternative version, Shadow Man Ziggy Session version. I didn't know Shadow Man till I got the toy box set, and I wouldn't have thought that he recorded that song originally during the Ziggy sort of like era. I would have thought that was quite later on in his career. The Superman Ziggy Session version 2023 mix. Then you've got Holy Holy Ziggy Session version alternate mix. Then you've got Round and Round alternative mix. Side 2 you've got Velvet Goldmine Ziggy version outtake 2022 mix. Looking for a Friend Ziggy Session version. It's Gonna Rain Again Ziggy Session outtake. Sweet Head Ziggy Session outtake 2022 mix. Starman Top of the Pops version 2022 mix. Now to me it says Top of the Pops version on here. Now when you listen to this, and if you can still get it, and when it's on YouTube, when he's on Top of the Pops, I don't think this is the same version. I don't know, unless this was a backing track that they then overdubbed or something. I don't know. It just doesn't sound the same as the one where he's playing his blue 12-string guitar and then he puts his arm around Mick Ronson Dunty right at the end. But it doesn't sound like the same version. It could be, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem like the same version to me. Then you've got John I'm Only Dancing, alternate Trident Studios version. And then I Can't Explain, Trident Studios version. Now I Can't Explain is not the version that was on Pin-Ups. This is a far superior version. It's basically a copy of The Who. And it's Bowie and the Spiders out doing The Who on the version of a Who song. It was probably a bit too good to be released at the time. And then when they did it on Pin-Ups, they like slowed it down and made it more into like a bluesy sort of song, didn't they? This is well worth getting. It's not cheap. I think I paid 40 something pound for this. The other one that came out for Record Store Day, is it Waiting in the Sky or something like that? You're talking best part of £100 for that. And the tracks are very, very, very similar. Then there's this one. We got this from the Nottingham Record Fair at, is it Salt Box Calf, earlier this year. This was £14.99, and it's The Man Who Sold the World picture disc. I know some people like picture discs, some people don't. Some people like coloured vinyl, don't with Beatle Brad. Some people don't. This sounds okay. Not fantastic, it's acceptable. And for £14.99 or £15, I can't grumble. You do get a massive poster with this as well, which I'm not going to get out. So you get all the tracks that was on the original album. like I say, sound wise it's okay. What does it say? David Bowie poster exclusive. Sorry, enclosed. Yeah, nice sounding record. And for £15 you can't go wrong really, can you? Then we've got this one. This was one that we got at the Chesterfield Record Fair about 2 months ago. David Bowie Transition on Air 1967 to 71. Now when I first saw this at the fair, I thought this was an alternate cover to his first album, or maybe an alternate cover to the Love You Till Tuesday album, but it's not. These are all things he did for radio shows over the years in the early part of his career. So that is what is on the LP. So you've got Love You Till Tuesday, In the Heat of the Morning, Little Bombardier, Silly Boy Blue, When I Live My Dream, fantastic song, Unwashed and Somewhat Slightly Dazed. And side 2 you got Waiting for the Man, The Width of a Circle, Queen Bitch, The Superman and Kooks. And then there it will tell you where they were recorded, if you can see it. This is on Rockwell Records, so I don't think it's an official release, and it's on white vinyl. Beatles had this on white vinyl. The sound quality on this is on par with anything that has officially been released by the David Bowie camp. That's all I'll say. Why this hasn't got an original release by the David Bowie camp, I don't know. Mainly probably they don't own the rights. Probably the BBC own the rights to it or something like that. But like I say, it's a fantastic sounding record. Really is a fantastic sounding record. And it is done to look like it is an official release as well, isn't it? Shall I show you the vinyl? Yeah, £10. This was £10. £10 and it was sealed. Are you ready, Beatle Brad? Virgin white vinyl. And even that they've made it look like it's the Decca label, haven't they? One more to go, folks. Yeah, so, you know, I am thinking of doing maybe another mini-series yet, but I'm not 100% sure on who I want it to be on, because I did really enjoy doing the David Bowie mini-series, but there was a hell of a lot of work that went into it. Some of them got really nice viewing figures, others of them didn't. I think if I do another one, it's only going to be in like 1 or 2 parts. But you'll have to wait and see on that one. And the last one is Bowie. Now I think I did feature a copy of this when I did the original mini-series and got this afterwards. This is basically in mint condition. On RCA Records, this came out just after David's contract with RCA had lapsed and he'd gone to EMI America to do the Let's Dance album and all that jazz. So at the time, the songs on here were actually rare. So you've got the Italian version of Space Oddity, I think it's Italian, isn't it? Then you've got Round and Round, Amsterdam, Holy Holy, Panic in Detroit, Young Americans. Side 2 you've got Velvet Goldmine, Helden, which is the German version of Heroes, John I'm Only Dancing Again, Moon of Alabama, and Crystal Japan. So that is the track listing if you want to freeze and zoom in. Now since this record came out, a lot of these have been added onto box sets and things like that as bonus tracks, but at the time this was actually, you know, it was what it said, Rare Bowie. Fantastic photo of David on the front, nice one of David on the back. Like I say, this is mint condition, and I think I paid £10 or £12. Not impossible to find, but to get a nice version of it is getting rarer, if that makes sense. They don't come around very often, put like that. So that's going to be it. I hope you're all well and dandy. Thank you to everybody that is leaving likes, leaving me thumbs up, subscribing. Beatles Dave, please like and subscribe if you're not already. Yeah, if I hear any more on these albums, I will let you know. Like I say, I don't really need them, but I hope that they are released, because it'd be nice to get some brand new versions of these classic American albums, aren't they? Whether you like them or not, in the UK, this is how the Americans got to know the Beatles, with these albums. Yes, the mixes were criticised at the time, but hey hey, there's people that don't like some of the British albums, mixed on some of the British albums. So yeah, I think if it's true what's going to happen, I think Apple are doing something that the fans and the collectors will be interested in. But please, 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 please don't make them stupid money. Don't do it as a box set unless the box set's going to be less than £100. You know what I mean? You know, it's sort of like, you know, you've got to remember, people, no matter how much money you have got in your bank account or what job you've got, there's only a certain amount of spare money you've got, isn't there? And some of the box sets that we've had in the past have been well worth the money. Some of them probably haven't. You know, I'm not saying which I think weren't worth the money, but the ones that I don't think were worth the money I haven't got. If that makes sense. I know what I'm saying, folks. Yeah, so please make them around the £20, £25 mark each if you're going to be releasing them separate. And like I said, don't know if they're going to be stereo or mono. I should imagine they'll be the mono mixes, won't they? Like I say, they are the original US mixes by Dave Dexter. So there will be reverb and things like that on the songs. And I'm really looking forward to them. I just hope they are going to be a worldwide release. And that's going to be it. So I hope I brought a little smile to your face on this very, very wet and dull Wednesday morning here in the UK. Remember, you are the beat of Beatle Dave. I love you all. A splendid time is guaranteed for all. And, you know, that's going to be it. So whatever you're doing, stay safe. Remember, Beatle Dave loves you. Okay, till the next time, it's Beatle Dave saying cheerio.